Others say it could be less, but we will have to see how that turns out. But what is important for me is that in terms of addressing our challenges, last year we saw a great attribute of South Africa emerging and strengthening. That is the cooperation between business, labor, and government, including some civil society organizations. And I think this is what distinguishes us as South Africans from many other countries, that when faced with great challenges, we're able to get together as business, labor, government, and civil society to address those types of challenges. And the other important thing, of course, is South Africa is that we've got strong institutions, and strong institutions that proved that they are the shock absorbers to whatever shock that our country can be subjected to. They were able to keep our country stable, and when many people thought that the wheels would come off, they didn't, and the institutions that we have. And we've also got a very strong and a stable macroeconomic environment and policy outlook. Those who have been given the responsibility to be the stewards of our macroeconomic policy are doing a great job. And the other strength that our country has is the financial services infrastructure that we have. In a number of ways, it's amongst the best in the world. And any country that has a really strong and stable financial services market should pride itself that it can withstand quite a number of disasters that can befall it. And that is a great strength that South Africa has. And we also remain very, very strong with regard to fiscal discipline. And when it comes to that, we've never really even compromised, not once. And we now need to engender further and more policy certainty. And I'm sure a number of you who are sitting here, that is something that you would like to see happening more and more. And I can say that 2017 and onwards, we will be seeking to make sure that there is policy certainty, and that when institutions of government speak, they speak with one voice, they speak from the same sheet, and that investors have the amount of certainty that they should have with regard to seeing South Africa as an environment in which they can invest. And we're also going to strengthen and support the various initiatives that are being taken to make sure that Invest South Africa becomes something that is much stronger. And we are pleased that business has joined us in making sure that we do as much as we possibly can to engender an environment that is conducive for investment in South Africa. And having set up Invest South Africa was another important development that we should also be proud of. And of course, one of the success stories, which we don't talk about much, I'm going to be participating in a session on energy, is how we were able to overcome our energy challenges. And as we all know, we had enormous challenges, and many people thought the wheels are coming off. But we were able, through focused attention and cooperating with a whole range of partners, to ensure that our energy is much more secure. And as it is now, things like load shedding and blackouts are things of the past. And now we are moving much further ahead, incorporating with others, particularly with the renewable energy programs as well. And in many ways, we have great lessons to give out to a number of other countries in terms of how they can address their own energy challenges. The infrastructure challenges that we face in our country are still enormous, but government's determination in this regard is really laudable. The massive infrastructure investment that is going to continue in our country is going to speed up. Some people in the construction industry felt that it had slowed down and they were seeing fewer and fewer orders, and that is also going to start picking up. Much as this is a very difficult global environment for economic growth, we believe that the one thing that stands us in good stead as South Africans is when we can work together. And when we work together, we achieve unbelievable results. Working together now with business, addressing the challenge of youth unemployment, where we are soon going to reach an accord or an agreement where we will have up to 1 million young people being brought into learnerships, internships, is something that we need to be proud of. And inclusive growth is going to be a key challenge as we move on, and it should not just be inclusive growth that is talked about in boardrooms just on paper. It should be inclusive growth that people are able to see, feel, touch, and eat. And that is going to be a key challenge. And it is when business, government, and labor will be able to get together and discuss these issues. And not so much that I'm involved in this, but the discussions that we've been having on improving our labor market environment, particularly in addressing the issues of strikes, violent strikes and long strikes, as well as addressing the issue of the national minimum wage, have filled me with a great deal of confidence that when partners who are diametrically opposed on many issues are able to get together and talk about key issues of interest to the country, to their communities, to their support base, and to their businesses, they're able to come up with really good solutions. We've been making tremendous progress, and we are hoping that when the President addresses Parliament at the SONA, we will be able to have broad-ranging agreements that the President will announce. We've made tremendous progress on strike issues, on collective bargaining issues, and indeed on the national minimum wage. Now, this, for me, means that we can tackle any problem. We can tackle whatever problem that we could have. It could even be the fees must fall issue, it can be tackled. Issues of inclusive growth, it can be tackled. Issues of poverty, inequality, it can be tackled. So we have a lot going for us as South Africa. And indeed, we can do a great deal to make our country even much more attractive for investments, inward-flowing investments. But another important thing in terms of infusing more confidence in the investment attractiveness of South Africa is to make sure that our own local businesses do indeed invest in their own country. And I know some businesses could have had some doubts about the future trajectory of the country, but what we have been through just in the past few years should fill anyone with confidence. And there are a number of good signposts that are out there that we can look out for. The signposts that can tell us that this country is capable of moving forward once again, and it is capable of addressing its challenges and its problems, but more importantly, it is capable of engendering economic growth that will reduce our unemployment level, that will reduce inequality and poverty as well. And I guess if we look at those things and say, this is what we as South Africans should be focusing on and addressing, we can go very far. And your presence here, to me, is demonstration that we are all eager as South Africans to contribute. Another important word, which rang a really good ring for me, was the issue of innovation. As before I sit down, innovation underpinning everything that we do. Innovation to me means coming up not only with new products, but with new methods of doing things, new ways of solving problems, new ways of addressing difficult situations. and not fearing to grasp the nettle and address even the most difficult problems. And if we underpin what we do with an innovative frame of mind, we'll be able to come up with a great deal of initiatives and solutions. The one on youth employment, great innovation, and I think many of you are fair with it. Once implemented by June this year, I think it is going to electrify the country. It will bring a number of young people into the world of work, and I think we can multiply that and do much more. When the minimum wage is implemented and everyone seeks and tries to comply, we will raise the living levels of our people to a higher level. And all these other issues that are being talked about, if we engage, collaborate, and have dialogue and address them, I'm sure we will be able to find answers. And with that, I'd like to thank you for, no, I shouldn't thank you, Schwab should thank you, but I'm happy to be here 15 years after I first came. And thank you very much.